What's up, Culture Drop? Galen here, and I'm fired up about this video. This video is about accountability and empathy, and essentially when it comes to like disciplining employees or whatever, or having difficult conversations in that vein, how to do that effectively. Here's what I want to say about this, and it's very, very important. A lot of conversation that I have around building cultural feedback or delivering feedback effectively, and for leaders, how to like do that. And I think something that's important that a lot of times is missing from those conversations, or when leaders ask me like, how do you effectively discipline an employee, right? Or have a difficult conversation with someone about their performance. And here's what I want to say. When you're having that kind of conversation with somebody, I think the traditional, least effective way to do it is this separation. This thing where I'm coming to you as a leader, right? And I'm saying, hey, this performance, this behavior that I'm seeing from you is not acceptable. It needs to look like this. If you don't turn this around, like you're in trouble. Or I'm coming to you to say, hey, you're in trouble, you're on a performance improvement plan, or your job is at stake, or whatever. I think that is way less effective to do it that way, to separate you and me from the person who's delivering that feedback to you as somebody who's receiving it, as opposed to, here's what I think how that should be done and what makes that effective is this, is that if I am your leader coming to you and having this conversation that's difficult about your performance, about your behavior, and saying, hey, what I'm observing from you is not acceptable. It needs to look like this instead, right? Like these things I'm seeing from you is not up to par. It's not cutting it. And maybe that conversation is actually pretty severe. Maybe I'm telling you, hey, if this doesn't turn around, then our next conversation is like a corrective action, or your job is at stake. The factor that makes this really, really important for leaders to understand is that this has to be partnership. Is that if I'm saying to you, this performance, this behavior I'm seeing from you is not okay, it needs to look like this instead of me being like, go figure this out. You are accountable to me, go figure this out or you're in trouble, as opposed to being like, how can I support you? This sense of partnership, of coaching, of like, this is what I'm seeing, it needs to look like this instead. And also, how can I support you? What do you need from me? How can I help you to get you to where you need to be? If as a leader, if I'm coming from a place of care, of support, of concern, I'm invested in your success. Even if you and I are not best friends, I genuinely, sincerely want you to be successful. I do not want to be having conversations with you about that your performances or your behavior is lacking. That's not what I want. I want you to be successful. Nobody wants to be a bad employee or be unsuccessful in their job. And so the difference in me coming to you, having that conversation and being clear and direct and kind, but also coming from a place of partnership, of like, I am your biggest coach, cheerleader, how can I support you? There's ownership that you have in this conversation that you need to change your behavior, you need to change your performance, but also like that we are in this together. I want you to be successful. I need to know, how can I support you? How can I help you? What do you need from me? What is your perspective here? I think that's so important, that we come from a place of empathy, of care, that I'm invested in your success, even if what I'm telling you is hard to hear and it's a difficult conversation. You have to have the courage as a leader to do that and be honest. And you also can deliver feedback that's tough without being mean and cruel and a scowly face and be like, go figure this out. You can also just be like, hey, I care about you. I want you to be successful. Like, we are partners in this to get you to where you need to be, because I believe that you can get there and it needs to look like this. So like, what's the plan? What are you gonna do and how can I support? It's so important that like, that's our mindset when we're delivering feedback, especially if it's like, discipline action kind of stuff with people. I think the difference between isolating you over there, me over here, versus like, we are in this together is huge. The impact that has on that person, their willingness to turn things around if they feel like you genuinely care about them is markedly different in those two scenarios. Really, really important. So like, little nugget for you to take away as a leader in terms of those difficult conversations of disciplining somebody, corrective action, etc. Okay, great. I hope that's helpful. I love you. Go be awesome. Always record, always record. I'm super fired up about this video. This video is about, I don't remember, honestly. Thanks for watching and tuning in. Subscribe to our channel. We put a lot of content on here. You can also subscribe to the Culture Drop mailing list and get these emails in your inbox every Tuesday morning. Follow our social media channels. Put a lot of free content out about just being more awesome and building great teams.